A big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta and you can call me D-Boy. I'm here with another deck profile for you guys. This would be an Ezel Stride deck and I'm doing this in English for a special request from Cardfight Vanguard 1988. He wanted to see this video in English, so we're doing so. Yeah, let's go through the deck. I didn't really change the deck a lot from my first deck profile. So yeah, let's just go through the deck and then explain the cards. For the grade 3s, I play 8 grade 3s. The first is the Ezel Scissors, and the second is the Stride grade 3. The Ezel Scissors is the card that you want to go into, especially if you're playing against Link Jokers. His skill is he Counterblasts 2 and Soul Blast 2, and then if you have he unlocks all of your rare guards, and then if you have 5 or more, he would get an extra 10k and a critical. Also, at the end of the turn, then he can Soul Charge 1 and Soul Charge 1 and Counter Charge 1. So you had only paid 1 Counter Blast and 1 Soul Blast for his skill. His second skill is that he get an extra 1k for every rare guard that you have on the field during your turn. So having 5 rare guards and using his skill would make him a 26 by himself with an extra critical, which is very good if you could go into late game. Next is a Stride grade 3, which is his Stride skill. So when you stride on the top of him, you counter blast 1. And then you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck. From them, you can call 1 to the rare guard circle and give it an extra 2k, which is very good because you would have more options if your hand isn't that good. The thing about him is so many people dislike him because of the counterblasts that he used, because this deck is a counterblast heavy, but it is a skill that you could use, that you don't have to use. The same goes with his GB2 skill, which is at the beginning of the guard step. You can when he's attacked, then you can, or when in yeah, let's say, does it also work on the rear guards? No, only when he gets attacked. So in your opponent turn, when they attack him, then you can Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1, and then you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck and call something to the guarding circle. It also works with a Perfect Guard, but you have to use the normal Perfect Guards, not the G Perfect Guards, for his skill to work. So yeah, very good card in my opinion. The same with his second skill. You only use this skill if you can't guard otherwise. So this is a skill that you don't really have to use, but you could use. So 8 grade 3s. For the grade 2s, I play 11 grade 2s, starting up with the best grade 2 that you have in this deck, which is the 12k attacker. This card does so much work, especially with the Ezel Stride, because the Ezel Stride with double his power, which makes him 18 by himself, and when he attacks, he gets the extra 3k, which make him 21 by himself, which is the right number that you want to hit when you're attacking. So 21 for the rare guard is really good. Unboosted, when he's boosted, he would be able to attack for, let's say, 20k guard for your opponent. So very good card to have, especially in an Ezel Stride deck, because he just makes the right columns and attack for the very high numbers. Next card is the card that eats your counterblasts. Holy Mage, playing 4 of him because he's the card that gives you an extra attack. Using his skill, when he's on GB1, when you are at GB1 and he's boosted, he attacks the Vanguard. You can use his skill Counterblast 1, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and call something to the rearguard circle. And the card that you really want to call is Famgirl. Using his skill, when he's called from the deck to the rearguard circle, you can look at the top 3 cards and call something from them. So he doesn't cost you a Counterblast, he doesn't cost you anything, only when he's called. The thing about him is he's only 8k, so you just want to use him sometimes even to replace himself, just to get the right numbers. For the great ones, I play 4 Stride Fathers because this deck is very stride heavy, so you need the 4 Stride Fathers. Yeah, also I sometimes use their skill when he's called to just get that extra grade 3 into your hand to stride with, or sometimes you just don't want to go into your Ezel but you want to go into him, so that's when you use his skill. As I said, I'm playing the normal perfect guards because I just don't want to don't want to lose against Kagero or Dimension Police, also because of his skill, and also because you have, or I play 2 Smileys in this deck. Only 2, I'm not sure, maybe I will play more, but I am still thinking about playing more of him. What he does, if you have 3 rear guards, then you can use his skill by retiring himself. Also, he's a GB1, so retire himself, and then you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and call something to the guarding circle. So, very good, especially that he is only 6k as a booster. So sometimes you just retire himself and then you can guard with something from the top of your deck. Also, when you got the perfect guard, it's also good. And the thing about this deck is that you can't put all the units from the drop zone back into your deck because you don't play a Legion or anything. So that's the only thing that this deck could lose to, because when you lose all your perfect guards and you go into late game, maybe you would deck out, or that just you don't have the units that you need in your deck. Next, I play 2 of the Soul Blast 2 and Counter Charge 2, which is needed in this deck. Maybe play 3, I'm not sure, but for now 2 are enough because using him once at let's say a match is good, or a game, once a game is really good. But if you want to go into Spear Cross, which costs you 2 counterblasts, then you would play more. For the last great one that I play in this deck is Cool Goal. When he's called from the deck into the rearguard circle, you can you just can draw a card. So he's on GB1, but he just gives you an extra card. This is the card that maybe I would take out to put 1 more Smiley in here, or 2, or play 3 on 3. So I could play. Let's see. It's also depend on your play style. I mean, you should play the deck that way that you want it. But I could play 3 on 3 because he is really good. He just gives you an extra card, but sometimes you need the guard, and because he's only 6k, you would sacrifice him for something else later on. But yeah, so I'm playing 2 of each, just to test this deck more. I don't really play this deck a lot, but it is a very strong deck, especially in the current meta. For your starter, I play 1 Rising Lioness. He's very good. Also, another card that pressures your opponent, especially if you have a strong rear guard, and if you get a critical. So when you get a critical, you can give his skill to the rear guard and the critical to the another rear guard. That makes you have 2 columns with the pressure that when they hit, they do something. His skill is when you call something from the deck to the rearguard circles, then you can put him into your soul and give that unit extra 5k. Also, that unit get the skill that when the attack hits a vanguard, then you can look at the top 3 cards and call something from the deck. He's a GB1, so very good to pressure your opponent, but usually I don't really use him, just having him there as a rearguard um, just to boost with, because 5k boosting your Vanguard is good even if you have Ezel as a grade 3. The strides, or yeah, let's first go into the trigger lineup and then I will show you the strides. Playing for heal because, as I said, this deck does go into late game, so you need your heals. Also healing a damage, meaning that you can get 1 more damage. That means that you have an extra counterblast to use, so very good. Next, for normal crits, and 8 crits. Playing for Holy Flame, or I mean Flame of Victory, putting him into your soul and get an extra 3k is really good in this deck because you have him in your soul, so you can use him to Soul Blast. Also, giving a unit an extra 3k is something that could put your column from, let's say, 18 to 21, or maybe 25 to 28. So it is a very good card to have in this deck because it makes the right numbers. And the same goes with the draw trigger, which is when he's called from the deck to the rear guard circle, then you can give another unit 2k till the end of turn. So very good. Also, he's a draw trigger, so when you call him, it doesn't really matter. The thing about him is he's only 4k, but when he's boosted the 12k attacker, it doesn't really matter. So for the strides, I play only 2 Spear Cross because I don't really think that he is needed. Only when you play against, let's say, Blade Master or Narukami's that retires your whole field, then he is really good. But otherwise, I would rather play another gold strides like Point Dragon, because this is a very good card, and in my opinion, Spear Cross just he does cost too much. The 2 counter blast that you can't really give up in this deck, so that's why I would rather. Um, Normally, I would rather take him out, but I just put him in here because I need the option to, especially as I said, if you play against decks that retires a lot. Next, your Ezel Stride, the Lion King. This is the card that also makes this deck so good against Link Jokers. What he does is Counterblast 1, choosing a face down, so unflip one of himself, and unlock all your rare guards. Then you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck and call something from them to the rare guard circle, and then that unit attacks get doubled and he get the same amount of attack. So let's say you call the card that you want to call is the 12k attacker, which makes him 18 by himself, and he gets an extra 9k. Very strong. This means that he can attack for 21, and it doesn't really matter what he gets from attacking power because it is still a perfect card for your opponent if they have one. Otherwise, they would have to, let's say, guard with 4 cards or something from their hand, which is ridiculous. A very good card, important to have in this current meta, and I think this is one of the cards that, if this would be a Cray Elemental, then everybody would play 2 of him in his or her deck because he is really good against Link Jokers. So yeah. The next crate 4 that I play are 2 different ones. I've seen people play 2 of him because he's really good. The Point Dragon, what he does is when anything is called from the deck to the rear guard circles, he get an extra 5k and that unit get an extra 5k. So just boosting your field like crazy using his skill is very good. So very, very, very good card to have. Just boosting all the cards that you call, and makes your skills even better because the number of the columns that you make would be 5k stronger. So very good. Next, but I do like to play one-on-one because I like to have the options in this deck. And the thing is, he's really good when he hits. Then you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck and you can call something. So another card to pressure your opponent, and he's a card that your opponent would like to just don't want to guard, because if they don't have a perfect guard, then the attack would go through. So this one goes for damage, and this one goes for just discarding and or getting rid of one of the perfect guards so that your opponent have. So yeah, as I said, I like to have the options because I do like to mess with my opponent's mind, and I would want to know what they have in their hand. But if you would have the opportunity to play more of him, then I would do so, because this is a very, very, very good card. So maybe even I would take the Spear Cross out to put 2 more of him in this deck, because you do need him, and you would stride more than once into him. So yeah, this was the deck. As I said, the deck profile in English. So tell me what you want to see next. Also, if you want me to explain more of the combos, I would do so. Yeah, thanks for watching, and till next time.